Now, when it comes to using this upload images feature here, you're of course not limited to extracting information from an image. Instead, again, you can become creative and simply try out different things. For example, here I drew a rough sketch of a website onto a piece of paper, and now I'm asking ChatGPT to give me the code for this website. So I'll give it a roll and say, you are an experienced web developer and web designer. Attached, you find a rough sketch of a website. Give me the code to build this website. That's the prompt I'm sending to ChatGPT along with this image. And indeed here, it goes ahead and generates some HTML and CSS code, which, once it's done, I can grab to then see if this resembles the website I drew onto this piece of paper here. So here we go. It finished code generation. So therefore I'll copy that, paste that into an HTML file. And if I then visit this, that's what I'm getting. Not too bad. It's not exactly what I drew here, because here everything was centered, but it's pretty close and it definitely does not look bad. So you also might want to play around with ideas like this when working with ChatGPT and using this image upload feature here.
With all the knowledge gained about prompt engineering, it's now time to go back to some practical implementations. In this module, we will learn how we can use ChatGPT for daily tasks. For this, we'll see how ChatGPT can support us when researching information and whenever we want to summarize or translate information. We'll also use ChatGPT to proofread our texts, so to check it for grammar or spelling mistakes, and we'll learn how we can use ChatGPT to improve or enhance our text. For example, I'm a non-native English speaker, so if I wrote a text, I can use ChatGPT to check whether some parts in my text might have been written differently by a native speaker. And finally, we'll also have a look at how we can create simple utility tools with ChatGPT. Such tools are based on programming languages, we'll use Python in this case, but the good news is that ChatGPT will do all the heavy lifting for us, so absolutely no programming language is required. Again, lots of exciting things to discover, so let's get started. Research is a very important topic. No matter if you work on a private or professional project, if you start a new hobby, if you want to write a book, whatever you want to do, you always have to research information. The awesome news is that with ChatGPT, research becomes easier and more efficient than ever before. So let's get started with a practical research example. My goal is to learn more about the world and about everything. For this, I want to find a new book that everybody should have read. To be able to choose between different books here, I will ask ChatGPT the following prompt. What are the top 5 books everybody should have read? A quite generic prompt, but let's see what the result looks like. ChatGPT comes up with 5 books here, also stating that it's difficult to pick just 5 books, so in the end it tells us it depends on what we are looking for, but we got 5 books to get started with already. As we learned in the prompt engineering module, we should be more specific about what we actually look for. So we should add some constraints to our prompt maybe to be more precise about the topics, about the segment we are interested in. And let's say that we are actually interested into books which are related to business or personal development. And in addition to that, I just want to have the book title only. I don't want to have this very short summary of the book. For this, we will add the following prompt. So only give me the top 5 books which are related to business or personal development and only the titles. Let's see. So I have 5 books now, and the third one, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, sounds interesting to me. Now I want to dive deeper into this result. I want to have a short summary now of the content of this book. I want to know the page count of this book, and I want to know the year when this book was initially published. So again, we started from a very generic research, but now we're coming closer to a very specific book that we are interested in. This is the prompt we are using now, so we just refer to the number here. As you learned, ChatGPT is content aware, so it knows what book number 3 should be. And now we should get the requested information. And now, with this more precise prompt, we finally have the result we were looking for. We found one book that we will read now. To make things complete, we can also ask ChatGPT where we can buy this book, and with that, we made our whole journey from a generic book research to buying a specific book. Of course, this is a very easy example, but it shows you that instead of Googling for books, which requires checking multiple pages, lists, and so on, ChatGPT provides a great output within just a few prompts. And by the way, instead of starting with a very generic prompt, as we had it with the top 5 books everybody should have read, we can also start with a more specific prompt. Like this here, where we want to have the top 3 books in a specific area with other constraints being added. Then we get a more precise, a more specific result with the first output already. Of course, your research is not limited to books in this case. No matter if you're planning your next trip, if you want to improve in sports, if you want to learn how to dance, whatever you want to do, you can always use ChatGPT for quite efficient research results. Always keep in mind though, we mentioned this throughout the course already, ChatGPT is all about patterns and probabilities, so you might have to double check the results from time to time to make sure the results actually reflect what you're looking for. But the least thing ChatGPT can do here, it provides a great starting point for your research where you can then dive deeper on your own, with or without ChatGPT. Another very important topic in our daily lives is summarizing information. No matter if you read a blog post or an article, if you get a long email from a colleague, sometimes you only need to know the core information of a specific text. With ChatGPT, we can summarize text within seconds. I have a very long text now here in my prompt. This text is all about a healthy lifestyle, what you should eat, what you should do, how you should sleep, and so on. So instead of reading the text and then summarizing it on our own, we can just provide the text to ChatGPT and then simply say, summarize this text for me. We don't add any further constraints in here. Let's just see what ChatGPT makes out of it. So this is a really very, very short summary. Let's say this is too condensed. I want to have at least the subheaders in here, and more core content should be remained in the summary. Then I can simply tell ChatGPT that I'm not totally happy with this way of summarizing the text. Let's say this is too short and unstructured, so it should summarize the different topics in separate paragraphs. It should include subheaders, but of course all core topics should be included. And now we have a obviously longer summary, which still is a lot shorter and specifically more structured than the initial text. And with that, ChatGPT made it very easy for us to summarize this text. Very short, like this one here, or in the more structured version, which I personally prefer. Now, besides summarizing provided texts, as we did it here, you can also use ChatGPT to summarize articles that you found on a website. Didn't we learn that ChatGPT can't access websites by default? It indeed can't, but you can just copy-paste articles and then let ChatGPT do the summarization work. I'm once again on academind.com, and here I want to have a summary of this git restore and git reset article. I can simply highlight the entire text in this article, now copy it, paste it into my message box, and tell ChatGPT once again that it should summarize this article, and let's maybe add, keep it as short as possible, but don't lose important information. So let's see. And that's quite awesome actually, right? We get a very condensed summary with a short introduction of the topic and then 3 bullet points with the core concepts taught in this article. As always, this can also only be a starting point, so you might want to reread the article and add some information that should be included in the summary, but still, this is a very efficient way to summarize text within seconds.